Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to She's Not Done Yet, the podcast for women who know their story isn't finished. It's still my birthday month, yes, and we're celebrating all month long. Today, we're leaning into a message I believe every woman needs to hear. It's never too late to believe again, to dream again, and to step into what God has for you. I'm your host, Teresa. Let's dig in. I read recently that nearly 1/3 of people aged 45 to 54 plan to make a major career shift before they retire. That's proof that midlife is not your sunset. Also, in a survey of women entrepreneurs over the age of 50, 97% said launching their new venture was absolutely the right decision. If you thought your season had passed, let me remind you, you're not done yet. Today, I want to talk about a few lessons. The first is broken belief versus bold belief. After disappointment or delay, it's easy to stop believing, but belief is the seed of every new beginning. Sometimes all you have to hold on to is what you believe. I'll be real with you. One of the things I'm still believing God for is marriage. I've never been married, but it is my hope, my desire, and my prayer. And even though I'm single right now, I refuse to let go of that dream because God's timing is better than mine. Now, I've been in love before. I've been proposed to a few times, but God, have you ever looked back at a past relationship and thanked God that you didn't stay in it or you weren't with that person? I've definitely dodged a few bullets. But I guess I'm not a big proponent of soulmates. What do you guys think about that? Let me pause there for a second. What do you believe? Do you believe in soulmates? Like there's one person for every one person? I've always had this discussion with my girlfriends, and we agree to disagree. But my posture is that if there's one person for every one person and that other person happens to make a different decision that throws you off kilter or makes the wrong decision or they're with someone else, does that leave you by yourself for the rest of your life? Well, I'm still single, so maybe they're right, LOL. Wow, just thought about that. But I still don't believe that there's one person for every person. I believe that the person you're going to be with will be a soulmate for you, but I believe there are probably several people that you can connect with and have an amazing, long-lasting relationship with. I just still believe that God is going to allow marriage in my life. I would have never thought in a gazillion years that I'd still be single at this big age of 60, but I definitely believe. I believe in marriage, and I believed it before now, and I still believe. What's the one thing that you're still believing for? Even if it feels delayed, is there something that you're believing for? That leads me to my next point, that dormant dreams still live. Dormant doesn't mean dead. As it's defined, it just means something that's delayed or inactive, but it doesn't mean that it's not coming to fruition. Some dreams just need a new season to bloom. One thing I love about spring is that new growth, it breaks through ground that appears dormant or even appears dead. I'm growing a sustainable garden. I'll probably put a picture here, or maybe I'll show it after the show. But there are some seeds that I planted. Some I tried to pre-germinate where I put it in like a wet napkin. It was damp in a dark place just to try to germinate it. And then I put it in a little growing pod into a system that grows different vegetables. Right now I'm growing a garden just in case you never know what's going to happen with this world. I'll be able to grow my own food. If y'all need a salad, let me know because I got you. But I planted it all at the same time. and some sprouted right away. Like my cucumbers, first thing growing like crazy. My next largest stem that's growing are the bell peppers. And then my lettuce was doing good. I have romaine and butter lettuce. And then my tomatoes, I have yellow tomatoes and red cherry tomatoes. And both of those are growing really good. But then I have some yellow bell peppers. I have strawberries and radishes. And all of those, they're sprouting barely, while I'll have some that are all the way at the top of the light. There are others that are just barely germinating. But those seeds were all planted at the same time, given the same water, the same food. But some things just take time. You have to nurture. Some grow fast. Some have to be pruned early. Some of the ones that grew up, their leaves sprouted where it was covering the light from the other ones, but they all blossomed in their own time. And I look at that like our dreams that we have, God breathes on. There's a scripture that says, some plant, some water, but God gives the increase. So you never know when your right time is coming, but I do believe that there's a season for everything. There's a time for everything. And you shouldn't let your dreams go away. At 59 and a half years old, I didn't know what my next steps were at the top of this year. I was at a crossroad of, do I just give up and let life, or do I believe again? That moment could have been the death of my dreams, but instead, God used it as a rebirth. And this podcast was actually a dormant dream. To be honest, I don't even like to hear my own voice. Isn't that crazy? But this platform is a dream that has now come to fruition. And it's not just the podcast, but now I'm growing a community of women who share that same tenacity that says, this is not the end of me. Like my midlife crisis, if you want to say that, is only a challenge, but it's catapulting me into my next. And I do want you to check out, I don't know if you've heard of the platform School, SKOOL, but if you go to school.com/SNDY for She's Not Done Yet, there's a community there that we're building, and we're going to have some amazing after the show, behind the scenes items. But I also want to share the books that I'm reading and the things that I'm doing to push my life forward. I've had, individuals reach out to me to say, Teresa, tell me how you got over that hump. Tell me how you moved this obstacle to move forward into what it is that you had, or into what you knew God had for you, or what your purpose is. And I can do more deep diving in that community. We can talk on a regular basis. I'm going to have an event probably in about a month or so. I saw something amazing. So this is not my brainchild, but I did see something here in Gwinnett County in Georgia, and it was muumuus and margaritas, but I'm going to do the Christian girl version of it. It's going to be muumuus and mocktails. And it's going to be an opportunity for us to get together. And for those of you in the community, it'll be free of charge. And then there'll be a small fee at the door for those of you who are not in the community. But I want you to pop over after this show and let's talk. I would love to get connected with you. But I also want to leave you with this question. What dream have you put down that God might have nudged you to pick back up, but you've not done it yet? And that leads me to my next point, that it's not too late to start over. Midlife is not the end. It's often the second act. Age doesn't disqualify you. It actually equips you. All of your experience, all of your knowledge, everything that you've gone through has equipped you for now. For me, something I started over again was my weight loss journey. And I mean, I started it again because I had been on it 1,000 times. But I said, I'm going to have better health. At the top of this year, I decided I didn't want to let the rest of my life dictate what was to happen to me, just to like sit down and let it be written by defeat. So I started eating better. I started walking, getting my 10,000 steps in. I was with Ordered Steps. I don't know if you were familiar with Temple Maintenance, but my fitness pastor, George D. Moore, who I would talk about all the time, I joined his community because it's another community of believers who are striving towards living better, being healthy. And it's not so much weight loss as it is being healthy. And I eventually started a regimen that I'm using now that is pulling me together. I'm losing weight. I'm down 40 plus pounds. I already testified that I'm out of these 200s. I will never see them again, no more forever. And I won't even get on the scale because I'm like, I don't even want to see 199.9 and God forbid 200. So I've been off the scale now for about a week and I'll get back on one after I feel like I've lost more weight. But I'm now clearer about my purpose more than I've ever been. I shared with the Temple Maintenance Boot Camp of my testimony of clarity. And I was with George at LA Fitness in Midtown. And it was one of those rainy days where I didn't even want to go to the gym. I was mad about being there. And I shared with you that he's my life coach. So we were talking and I was like, this isn't a good day for me. Like, just tell me what I need to do and let's not have all the conversation. He was like, oh, okay. So then he stopped. He was like, get off this treadmill. I think we stayed on for 5 minutes, may have done the Stairmaster. He said, let's go to the front. And there were couches, soft seating up at the front of the gym. So we sat down and he started pouring into me. And he said, Teresa, for every 10 pounds you lose, and I'm sure he saw the depression all over my face. He was like, God is going to give you clarity on what your purpose is. Because I felt like I didn't know. He was like, what do you want to do with life? And what do you want to do? And I was like, I have no idea. Like I really haven't. I was 58 then. I had no idea what I was even here for. And it was daunting to think about because it was the onset of depression for me. And then I lost my dog. And I may have spiraled out after that, but I let myself go and I wasn't even trying to do anything. I stopped going to the gym, stopped answering his calls to meet me at that 6 a.m. every morning. And I found myself in a place where I was at that crossroad of, do I give up? And I prayed. I was like, God, if you give me one more chance, just give me that infusion that I needed to, the tenacity, the strength you need to get back up. And he allowed me to do that. But what George said to me that day that I'll never let go of, he was like, God will give you clarity every 10 pounds you lose. And I totally forgot about it. And then this year, I started, after I got to like 30 pounds down, I started thinking about it. And I was like, wow, at the first 10 pounds down, it was clear that I had to have my health. I had to live to see it happen. And at the top of the year, we have our we start off with all of our New Year's resolutions, but God was like, you're not even healthy enough to see what I have for you. Are you going to be here when these dreams come to fruition? And that was the first point of clarity after those first 10 pounds down, that I have to get myself together. And after losing 10 more pounds, God showed me my purpose. And it was that I'm a testimony. So many people, one, can't even believe that I'm 60. And I'll share all of my background secrets with you, everything that I do, my skin regimen, and I'm starting new things. Now I'm looking for new things because I am fighting against time. So like my body is trying to be 60 and I'm trying not to be 60 and I'm not trying to be 20, but I'm really trying to just be healthy. So while I'm losing elasticity in my skin, I'm trying everything. If you know some things, drop some secrets that you use, but I'll let you know what I'm using as well. But after knowing that I had to get myself together, I had a testimony for others. And this podcast was born out of that. And I was like, I'm going to share with other women that I'm not done yet. There's so much more life left in me. And I know people are saved by testimonies of others. And I was like, Lord, I want to do that for somebody. I want to be able to let my life be a testimony that will save someone else. My third point of clarity after losing 30 pounds was that wealth is something to be obtained, but God gives power to obtain wealth. There's a scripture that says, remember God, because it is he who gives the power to obtain wealth. And I started seeking out the principles and reading Proverbs and understanding what it is that God gives, the insight that he gives. I pray about every business deal, about everything I'm doing because, and I'll be honest to say, and I don't know that every girl dreams this, but you always feel like you're going to marry someone, you'll partner together, and then you'll be this power couple and be rich. And I was like, I can do that on my own. Not that I want to, God, like, just, you still got me. Okay. On the husband part. Okay. I got you. So not that I can't do it by myself, but I will be able to bring my wealth to the table, and it's God who gives it to me. After my 40 pounds of weight loss, my fourth point of clarity was consistency is paramount. It's paramount. Consistency is paramount. There isn't anything that you can do that if you're not consistent in it, it won't be progressive and productive. But if you're inconsistent, nothing can really go or grow or come to fruition without you being consistent. And that was the fourth point of clarity. And when I lose my next 10 pounds, I'm going to let you know what that fifth point is. But I believe and I see and I know that God has breathed on what he's given me. And sometimes the start of a dream isn't glamorous. It's just choosing yourself again. I want to encourage you, maybe even just convince you to embrace one small start that will reshape your life. And my next point is that there's power in small beginnings. There's a scripture that says, do not despise small beginnings. Big dreams grow out of small starts. When I relaunched my health journey, I didn't jump in the gym and start doing everything. It wasn't flashy. It was just me getting up, doing one walk at a time every morning at 6 a.m. on my walk pad. I didn't even go to the gym. I was like, I'm going to get these 10,000 steps in. And you know my struggle with water. I was drinking 99 and a half ounces of water, but I was incorporating small things, just small beginnings. But it unlocked big clarity for me. And it can do that for you too. And now, of course, I'm in the gym. I need to be in the gym twice a day, but I'm walking, I'm eating right, I'm climbing my Stairmaster, and I only do it like 30 minutes a day. But I eventually have gained so much more strength, and I've incorporated more exercises. What's one small step that you can take today that might open the door to something greater? Maybe it's not your health. Maybe it's learning something new. Maybe it's just, I need to refocus my energy. Maybe it's a shift in what you're doing at work, whatever job you're on, or if you're an entrepreneur, it's something new that you can do. And my last point for today is use faith as a fuel for your future. Dreams don't survive on hustle alone. They are sustained by faith. And faith without works is useless. It's dead. So you must do something. I prayed that prayer, Lord, I believe, but help thou my unbelief. I asked God to increase my faith, to give me an infusion of what I needed because I knew I couldn't do it on my own. I dare you to ask God, what is it that I'm supposed to be doing? Like, ask him and sincerely wait for an answer. When I didn't know what my purpose was, I went back to my faith. And faith gave me the vision. Faith gave me the breath that I needed to breathe. Faith gave me the fire to put up under me to say, Teresa, you're not done yet. There's a mantra that we have with my YLC team, and we always say, you will see what you say. And so you have to start declaring what it is that you want. My question to you is, how has faith carried you when nothing else made sense? Our faith focus for today is in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, which everybody knows, write the vision and make it plain. But I want to focus on the third verse that says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come and it will not tarry. And that just simply means if it takes a long time, if you find yourself at the big age of whatever it is that you are and you've not realized your dreams, just wait for it because it's coming. If you've written it out, you've made it plain, God is going to breathe on it. I don't know when it's coming. I don't know when marriage is coming for me, but I believe that it is. And God's delays are not his denials. If he gave you the vision, he's preparing you for it. He always gives provision for the vision, but you have to be tuned in. You can't expect God to do something for you and you don't spend any time with him. You have to talk to him. He's not a fast order cook. He's not a genie in a bottle. You can't just ask him for something and, all right, do that for me and get back to you. You have to go to him. You have to seek him. You have to spend time with him. Do you even know his voice? You have to spend time with God. in order to know his voice. People ask me all the time, Teresa, how do you know God's voice? And I know his voice because, one, we talk all the time. You know, he says, my sheep know my voice. Like your mom can call you and you know her voice. You know your mother's call over anybody else's. And if you spend time with him, you talk to him, you pray, he will answer. When you ask him for clarity and writing your vision, he'll perfect it. Go back to it. Keep reading it. Prepare for it. Prepare yourself to receive it. There are so many things that I've asked God for that I had to go back and get clarity. And a lot of it is journaling for me. And this is a good time for us to do our journal. Oh, let me show you. I have our new color that's in. So this is the red. I think I've shown you almost every color. I don't know if I've shown you blue yet, but this is red. And so in our journal jot, I want you to discuss what dream have I put down that I need to pick back up? What's one small step that you can take this week to move toward it? If you don't know what it is, ask God for it. I remember, I don't know like how long ago it was, years ago, where I used to wake up at 3:24 a.m. every day for a whole season. And I would get up, like go to the restroom, but I got to look at my clock and it's 3:23:4. It would be 3:24 every morning. And it was so odd to me that after about a week, I was like, why am I waking up at 3:24 a.m.? And my mom was like, well, that's because God wants you to talk to him. I was like, okay, Mom. So of course, when I woke up the following morning at 3:24 a.m., I got on my knees to pray. And it wasn't always like I didn't build an altar to talk to the Lord. And I'm not saying you can't do that. I didn't have my prayer closet or a prayer room. I would get on my knees. Sometimes I get up, go to the restroom, I come back, fall on my knees. Sometimes I just get back in bed, but I pray and talk to the Lord. And there have been some amazing connections that I've made in the middle of the night praying and asking God to pour into me. And for my prayers, like I'll pray, sometimes I'll sing or I'll put on worship music, and then sometimes I just listen. And God pours into me, and he speaks so much faster than my voice. So it's like I can take copious notes and I can't even write down everything he's saying. Like it just doesn't come quick enough where I can just write it down. So sometimes I just lay there and he pours into me. And I'll never forget, like I know people prophesy to people, you receive a word from someone, but it's an amazing, beautiful experience for God to give you a word. Like it didn't come from a prophet of the house or a visiting prophet or somebody, parking lot prophet, anybody. It came from the Lord, and he said something specific to me, and I didn't quite understand. So I went to a friend of mine who is a known prophet, and I was like, God told me this in the middle of the night one night when I was praying. What does it mean? And I thought he was going to give me some great revelatory word. And he was like, I don't know. Ask the Lord, he gave it to you. He said, I have no idea what that means, Teresa. And it made sense. I was like, well, okay, let me go back to the Lord. But I went back to him and I was like, God, what did you mean by this? Like, what does it mean? And in all of my years of reading the Bible, I hadn't even known that this was there. So God sent me right to his word. I started looking up the scriptures that was relative to the words that he gave me. And it was so beautiful. Because it's two separate scriptures, but the word was, I will bring you up like the spring and clothe you like the lilies of the field. Woo! My God. That made me want to shout. I almost cue up the shout music. Like I could really praise him on that alone. But God gave me a word and I held on to it. And he's done it for me. He's showing me how he brings me up out of, the season spring. It comes through. I spoke about it earlier, how sometimes a sprig can come through something that seems dormant or dead, and God can birth something in you. He's done it for me so many times in my life where he's brought me out of what seemed to be a dead place, and he's breathed life back into me. He's resuscitated me, and what we call at church, he revived me. He's given me my personal revivals. And it's just been a beautiful experience. But pray and ask God what your purpose is. Ask him what it is that you're supposed to be doing. And I know beyond a shadow of a doubt, he will give it to you. Sometimes you need to talk to people to flesh it out. You might need a coach. you can meet me over in She's Not Done Yet in school, and we can talk about it further. But it's time for our affirmations. And the first affirmation, and I always ask you to say these out loud, and I hope that you can, but I want you to say, I still believe in the dreams God placed inside of me. That's powerful. The second affirmation is, it's never too late to start again. I am right on time. I've heard a saying that says the best time to do something was yesterday. The next best time is today. Start today. And the third affirmation is, my faith fuels my future, and my future is bright. I hope you heard something today that was encouraging, to say the least. I want to do Encore Espresso. That's going to be over in school.com/SNDY. You could come over for the conversation because it's not over. It's over here, but it won't be over. But you could bring your coffee or tea and let's chat about today's podcast together. I'd love to hear your feedback. Join me and other women inside the new community on School. It's SKOOL.com/SNDY, where we're out here believing again, we're dreaming again, and we're making it happen together. Email me for more information at info@SNDYpodcast.com. And if you like this episode, then like this episode. Thank you. Subscribe, share. You never know who's on the other side of your share, or who needs to hear something that you heard today that made you go, or something that just gave you a different perspective. You never know who needs that. So please share that today. I want you to have an amazing week. You can get your journal on She's Not Done Yet at SNDYpodcast.com. But I want you to have an amazing week, and I'll see you soon, because we're not done yet. Happy birthday to me. Bye.